Hey everyone, today I'm going to be scything for the first time. Now, I've always wanted to scythe, and I realize I'm going to do a lot of things wrong here. If you've done this before, if you really know what you're doing, feel free to leave in the comments all the ways I'm doing this wrong, because I am going to do it wrong. There's a lot of technique and skill needed for scything properly, and my buddy Dylan over at North Georgia Homestead Supply provided me with this amazing German-made scythe. But the reason that I'm so excited about scything is not only is it kind of a forgotten art, but it can be extremely efficient for small spaces. It is extremely beneficial for, let's say I want to feed my rabbits off of fodder or grass and things. Well, I can do that with a scythe, whereas with a mower, if I mow grass and give that to my rabbits, it can ferment and actually cause problems for the rabbits. So a scythe is really useful for small scale hay. And you can tell I'm up here in the orchard where I could actually take what I cut essentially as hay, and if I get it before it seeds, now I can put it in my orchard as mulch, especially around my trees, on my swale, things like that. So a scythe can be a really useful and helpful tool, and I'm pretty excited to get to use it and probably use it wrong. So again, let me know in the comments how I'm doing this wrong, how I can improve my form. So here's my first swing ever. Things that I've read are that I need to make sure that I'm not allowing the tip to nosedive into the ground. So I'm making sure it's flat and I'm holding it in such a way that it stays flat. Now, if I'm trying to work towards the camera, I would stand more like this and rotate my body, and then I can take steps forward. So let's see how this goes. Hey everybody, Ryan from the future here. Realized that I made a mistake in my video as I was filming and the first time using the scythe. I'm sure I made several mistakes, but one of the big ones was that I assumed that the factory blade was properly sharpened, and it felt quite sharp. In fact, I mistakenly touched it and gave myself a cut when it was in my vehicle, and so I just assumed that was good enough. And I actually struggle throughout the rest of this video that you're going to be watching, making consistent clean cuts, putting that grass in a nice pile, and all of that actually seems to do, I mean, I've got bad form, don't get me wrong, but the form doesn't seem to be as big of a deal as the fact that this was not as sharp as it was supposed to be. So after using it for a while, I decided to use a stone on it because I thought you were supposed to every once in a while, and so I did the stone across it a few times, and then I went to use it again, and this was after videoing, and it cut like butter. It worked so much better. So if you're getting a new scythe, at least in this case, I needed to sharpen it, run the stone along it a few times to make it cut better and work better. And you'll see me throughout this video really struggling because this wasn't as sharp as it should have been. First off, I notice I'm missing a lot of stuff. I'm not getting my cuts close enough together, so I'm actually missing pieces of the grass that I should. What I'd like to see is, as I take a swipe, that most of it lands over on one side. I can definitely tell I'm wanting to use my arms more than I should, and I should be using my body more. That's a tough thing to get in your head. And I think I also am trying to not hurt my back, so that might be part of it, but I'm gonna wear my arms out really fast that way. Another thing I'm noticing is that I have to step forward, and keeping my body moving while I step seems to be something that you've got to practice quite a bit. I'm leaving quite a bit, and that's because I'm thinking, you know, with the blade should be able to make a nice wide path, and that's really not what you're doing. The blade's getting turned so that it hits and kind of cuts through, and so your path is more like that instead of like that. So another thing that I've noticed as I'm doing this is that I've got a lot of inconsistency in the grass type, height, thickness, and that seems to be throwing me off. I think this would work a lot better in a location where the grass type and thickness was a lot more consistent. Or, you know, maybe it's just me not knowing what I'm doing. So as I've been practicing a bit, one of the things that I realized is that if I've got a clear spot on my left with the action of the swing, that will deposit grass and things over here and keep it out of my way. If there's a bunch of tall grass over here, it seems a lot harder to do this. Another thing that I've noticed is that as I'm swinging, that I'll leave a lot of stuff sticking up, and that's partially because of my hesitancy to get this blade low enough. So if I get the blade low enough, it's gonna hit and catch and pull against the grasses and things at their roots so it can chop it off. Whereas if I hit too high, it's just gonna bend it over. And so I've got to get better at striking at the correct height, but at the same time, not allowing the tip of the scythe to get turned down or embedded, which can be pretty hard when things pull on it. It tends to tip like that on me. And so I'm having to be really careful to keep my body positioned properly. So that's going quite a bit better than when I initially started, working through a few of those initial hiccups, hang-ups, and issues. Something I'm gonna have to learn next is how to properly sharpen my German scythe from Northern Georgia Homestead Supply. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing me screw up with this thing. If you're interested in traditional tools or in other homestead supplies like amazing organic and naturally sourced feed for your animals, all kinds of hand tools, and all kinds of other curated things having to do with homesteading and more traditional living, you should definitely stop by my friend's place at North Georgia Homestead Supply. Talk to Dylan. We did a podcast with him on the Resilient Living podcast a few weeks ago. I'll link that in the description so you can see that. But this is pretty cool. Really enjoyed using it. Make sure to like and subscribe so you can see more of my content. I bring honest homesteading content, no hiding things. You can check out my last full-length video on my homestead's a mess. I work really hard to be as honest and transparent in videos as possible so that you can actually learn real things that will make you more resilient. Thanks for watching, everyone.